Cross never took Nightmare for the festive type. After some miraculous course of events, most of which Cross did not fully understand, a party happened, and it was taking place directly in the entrance hall of Nightmare's castle. But it wasn't just any party, no. It was full-on formal, full-on hoity-toity to the extreme. Elegant music was nearly drowned out by the sheer number of people filling the hall, who were doing a variety of uninteresting and ordinary formal party things. Cross was surprised that so many people even came. Nightmare never struck him as a popular type. But what did he know? Perhaps Nightmare's title as King of Darkness, or whatever other title he came up with that day, wasn't simply self-proclaimed after all. Cross would admit, however, a large number of these people seemed to give up an air of suspicion, or even sheer villainy, comedic or not. Granted, it was natural, seeing as how they appeared to be subjects of Nightmare, who was, of course, basically the King of Darkness. Cross was standing up on a high balcony, observing the event. There was nothing interesting happening that made him want to stay, yet he did. His gaze was glued to his so-called Lord, Nightmare himself, who was smoothly chatting with some less than important people in his eyes. Nightmare was dressed appropriately for the event, looking prim and proper, in a fancy tux. Cross was also wearing one. After all, Nightmare surprisingly, adamantly, required Cross to be there, or in the least to observe. It had nothing to do with Cross's inability to communicate or control his emotions, or something. At least that's what Nightmare said. As the people started to pile in, only about an hour earlier, Cross immediately retreated to the balcony, feeling what could have been best described as raw anxiety. There was no way he could do that. But now, as he was sitting so far up from everyone else, he felt so isolated. No, more particularly, so far away from Nightmare. He almost wished his smaller lord was by his side up there, but at the same time, that was a horrible idea. Who was he kidding? There his mind went, wishing for stupid, impossible, and implausible things. Cross's eyes narrowed slightly as the mood of the party changed. The live orchestra started to play dance music, and people were starting to dance. A somewhat young girl emerged from the group that Nightmare was talking to, and while Cross could not hear the exchange in the slightest, he knew exactly what was happening when Nightmare's hand extended out and the girl took it. Cross almost grimaced, turning away. He snapped out of his bitter trance as a familiar voice hit his ears.
Hey, Crossy boy.
The annoying sound of Killer's voice chirped up as he entered the balcony.
Don't call me that.
Cross mumbled, heaving a sigh as he leaned into his hand.
Check it. I just took like 3 plates full of food from the refreshments table.
Killer said, plopping down next to Cross on the cushioned circular bench and putting his prized food next to himself.
This stuff is the shit.
Cross grunted, putting his chin on the balcony railing as his gaze drifted across the room, looking for Nightmare and his current dance partner again.
Something bothering you, X-Man?
Killer asked, his mouth full of food already. Cross didn't answer.
What? Is it your crippling social anxiety? Poor bean.
No. Fuck off.
Cross mumbled. Killer turned around, looking for the general direction that Cross was facing. Noticing how the monochromatic one's eyes were following Nightmare and his nondescript partner, a grin spread on his face.
Oh!
He started.
Oh, having an existential crisis? Is someone a little jealous about his lord and master being danced with?
He's not my fucking master.
Cross grumbled, lifting his arms up and resting his head on them.
Didn't deny the other parts.
Killer stated, throwing a cracker with an excessive amount of cheese on it in his face.
Man, relax. I won't judge your little schoolgirl crush.
I don't have a crush on him.
Cross declared. He paused, his gaze returning to Nightmare, who was skillfully leading his partner. He heaved a sigh.
No. No, I don't.
You don't sound very sure.
Killer cooed, a sing-song tone in his voice. The smirk on his face persisted, and Cross jolted as Killer put a hand on his shoulder and pointed to Nightmare's partner with his other hand.
You wish that was you, don't you?
No, I can't even dance.
Cross told him, trying to push his hand off, but Killer has a vice grip on him.
I would humiliate myself anyway.
Then I ought to teach you, shouldn't I?
Killer asked. He rose to his feet, holding his arms out.
Come on, Crossy boy.
How the fuck do you even know how to dance?
Cross asked, turning in his seat and furrowing his brow, if he even has one.
Is that really a question you want an answer to?
On second thought, I actually don't care.
Cross replied, turning away again.
I don't need your help. You're jumping to stupid conclusions.
Are you sure?
Killer asked.
I'm gonna tell him, Cross. I'm gonna tell him you want to dance with him.
Cross rolled around and jumped to his feet, grabbing Killer by his suit jacket.
No, you fucking won't.
He hissed.
I mean, regardless of what I teach you, I'm gonna tell him, so I'd recommend preparing yourself accordingly.
Killer told him, shruggingly.
But in the end, it's all up to you.
You're not going to tell him anything. Nightmare would literally kill me if you even suggested it.
Oh, please.
Killer said with a laugh, patting Cross's hands, which were still clutching at him.
Nightmare is actually more mellow than you realize. He likes to make people think that he's ready to kill them at all times. But if that were the case, he'd do it way more often.
Cross let go of him, letting out a huff of air.
Whatever. My point still stands. You aren't doing shit.
Killer gave him a poke on the shoulder.
But I think I am. What's the worst that could happen?
My pride dented for the rest of my life, maybe.
Cross suggested bitterly.
I don't even see him like that. And you're being an obnoxious asshole. I just admire him, okay? If that makes you shut up.
Admire? Then why are you watching him with all this blatant jealousy? Nightmare can probably feel it from way down there.
Cross collapsed backwards onto the bench again.
Just leave me alone.
Oh, Cross. It's not good to ignore your feelings, because things just end up pen up. Also, keep your hand out of my food, you dick.
Sure, because you're gonna eat 3 plates full of food. You fucking waste.
Cross told him, shoving 3 slices of cheese in his mouth at once.
They make way too much and throw away the leftovers anyway.
Killer told him, snatching up his plates.
You're calling me a waste? Whatevs. I'm gonna go find a random insecure college student to scare into dancing with me.
He started to walk away, but turned his head briefly.
By the way, I'm pretty sure they just brought out a chocolate fountain, so...
Out of my way! Out of my fucking way!
Cross jumped to his feet, pushing Killer out of the way and practically running down the stairs that led back down to the floor. Killer rolled his eyes, following him. The moment Cross reached the bottom of the stairs and he pushed the door open, he could already feel regret creeping up to him. God, there were so many people... No, he was fine. He could handle this. He rather aggressively stormed into the crowd, making his way over to the refreshments table, glancing over his shoulder here and there to make sure Nightmare wasn't giving him any looks already. Like he would even be looking at him to begin with. He had better things to attend to. Cross was hanging out by the table by then, glancing up sporadically for reasons he didn't entirely understand. The song ended, and he suddenly felt a hand on his shoulder, making him jump in the air.
Psst. Now's your chance, Cross.
I said leave me alone.
Cross uttered, trying not to draw attention to himself.
Welp, guess it's time for me to play matchmaker.
Killer said, grinning. He teleported to the other side of the table, beelining towards Nightmare.
No!
Cross exclaimed, worry increasing with every repeat. He ran around to the other side to follow him, but seeing Killer already trying to get Nightmare's attention, he backed off. He was so screwed. Nightmare's eye met Killer's, and it wasn't long before Killer started whispering things in his ear. Nightmare's gaze rose, suddenly looking at Cross, who turned away, immediately planning to run and hide. A smile rose on Nightmare's face.
Cross,
The monochromatic one froze in place.
is there something you would like to ask me?
Cross took a deep breath. Spinning around, his face was hot, and he was fairly certain that purple was starting to show on it.
Nightmare, there's a huge misunderstanding. The killer is just trying to humiliate me.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate. I was going to wholeheartedly accept, but I guess you don't want it that badly. After all, there are so many other people who are crying for my attention right now.
Cross stiffened up. He looked away.
Nightmare, I can't dance.
Oh, please. You have the easy part.
The hall was starting to get quieter, as more and more people noticed what was happening and were beginning to observe.
Give me this dance.
He said. It almost felt like an order. At this point, so many people were watching that it would be impossible to say no without making everything even worse.
God. Okay, I'll try. I feel like I'm dying inside.
Oh, I know. I know. Put your right hand on my shoulder.
Are you doing this on purpose?
Maybe.
So are you trying to embarrass me or what?
Oh, you're mistaken. After all, you're the one who wants it.
Damn it. That's not even fair.
Now just step with the music and follow my lead. Come on, don't make this difficult.
I'm not trying.
Just sync your movements with mine. It's not hard. Listen to the music, Cross.
It's always behind locked doors, making promises that you don't want because you've made them once before. Listen, don't you feel like
Cross,
Yes?
is there something we need to discuss?
What?
You seem to have something you want to tell me. By all means, please do.
It's not important. Really not important.
Seems fairly important to you now, isn't it? Tell me, I dare you.
I see you in ways that I probably shouldn't.
Do elaborate.
I like you. Too much.
I know.
What?
Why would I agree to dance with you if I didn't know? You know, Cross, I would admit that I've grown quite attached to you as well.
You are?
Yes. As such, I hope you will forgive me for what I'm about to do. See you after the party, Cross.
Hey, may want to run, Cross. Some of these folks look just about ready to kill you.
Oh my god. That just happened.
Nicer than he seems, huh? At least more relaxed.
Killer started to pull Cross along in a direction away from the center of the hall.
I'm so confused.
Waiting for a thank you.
Killer stated as they reached the door to the balcony again. He threw it open, dragging Cross through it and closing it.
Fuck you.
You're welcome, asshole.
I don't even understand why you care about this. Are you really that bored?
More or less. In any case, be thankful for my boredom, because you don't have the guts to do anything that involves talking to someone on your own.
Cross sat down on the floor against the wall.
Fuck off.
You're being awfully unappreciative of the person who ensured you're getting late tonight.
Like hell!